Greetings to everyone from another new video. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. In today's video we are going to talk about the movie No Way Home, which I saw in my dreams, and I was waiting like crazy because I always wondered if Andrew and Toby would be in it. First of all, it was a very different feeling to watch the movie.By the way. In this spoilery video I'm going to talk about what I think are the most important events in the movie. I like the movie a lot. Let's first talk about the most important thing in the movie, Andrew and Toby. I was a little confused when Andrew entered the movie with the portal. I think I was so engrossed in the story of the movie that I forgot that Andrew and Toby could be in the movie. The previous scene, Aunt May's death scene, was really moving. Tom Holland reflected Peter's sadness and anger to us very well. I shed a lot of tears in this scene. Aunt May, who didn't have much of a role in the series until now, gives Peter the most important lesson of his life before he dies and tells him that with great power comes great responsibility. It was nice to see this line, which normally belongs to Uncle Ben, in the movie. Also, the line was not the same as in the other two series, because the screenwriters made our aunt say Uncle Ben's original line from the comic book. I think it was a great decision by the screenwriters to put Andrew and Toby in the movie after the saddest scene of the movie. When Ned opened the portal with his hand, I saw Andrew Spider-Man's big eyes and he was swaying and I didn't know what was going on. I thought to myself, why is Tom Spider-Man acting drunk when his aunt just died? That's when my brain realized it was Andrew coming towards us. When our friend entered the room erupted in applause, and I had a huge smile on my face that would not disappear throughout the movie. It took me a while to get used to the fact that what I was watching was real, and I couldn't follow the scene exactly. In the movie, Andrew continued to be Spider-Man and gave a very sincere performance that he perfectly captured the excitement of our friend Peter and his emotions after Gwen's death. It was also great to see him in the lab looking at MJ and Peter and thinking about himself and Gwen. No word yet, but hopefully this won't be the last we see of him as Spider-Man. Andrew said that after getting the role of Spider-Man, he was very disappointed to realize that the biggest goal of making movies was to make money, not to make fans happy. Nevertheless, the actor returned to the franchise and gave an excellent performance. I'm sure he made a lot of money from the movie, but I think the real reason why the actor came back to the franchise was to make us fans happy. All three Spider-Men were in the same movie. If this can happen, all the wars in the world must end and all the resentments must be reconciled. Then Ned opened another portal and we saw brother Toby coming through. Toby entered the portal much more calmly than Andrew. After all, he was an experienced character. The fact that our friend didn't get excited even though he crossed the universe and everything was normal is probably the biggest proof of how much this Spider-Man has seen in his life. The three Spider-Men don't just come together in the movie. Our friends also serve the story very well. Andrew and Toby do their best in the movie to make sure that Tom doesn't kill the Goblin and that he understands what it means to be Spider-Man. Toby almost dies himself to keep Tom from killing the Goblin. And Andrew saves MJ and gives the audience some incredibly emotional moments to them. My only problem here was that everything was moving incredibly fast. I also wish they didn't put this moment where MJ falls in the trailer. It would have been much better to see the whole scene in the movie. One of my favorite scenes of the movie was Tom Spider-Man taking all the villains to his house and trying to heal them. By the end of this scene, Tom's spider sense was through the roof. But because there were so many bad guys in the room, our friend couldn't figure out who was going to cause trouble. This scene was very tense and beautifully shot. Friends, now we can talk about the magnificent finale of the movie. At the end of the movie, one of the Green Goblin's bombs damages Doctor Strange's magic and suddenly new villains from other parallel universes start to arrive. Peter tells Dr. Strange that this problem can be solved if everyone in the world forgets who Peter Parker is. Although Dr. Strange doesn't want to forget Peter, he emotionally agrees and gives Peter a short time to say goodbye to his friends. Before the spell is cast, Peter says goodbye to MJ and Ned and says that after you forget me, I will find you and explain who I am and we will continue our old friendship. Indeed, at the end of the movie, Peter goes to the cafe where our friend works with the speech he wrote to MJ. Peter plans to remind the love of his life who has forgotten him, but seeing Ned and MJ happy and learning that they got into the university they wanted, Peter later gives up on this idea. As our friend Spider-Man, he doesn't want to put MJ and Ned's lives in danger again, and he says goodbye to his own personality, his friends, in short, everything he knows, to save the lives of villains he has never met. Imagine if everyone in the world forgot who you were. Would you count as yourself anymore? In the movie, Peter says goodbye to his own personality in order to become Spider-Man. I love the moment when Peter decides not to talk to MJ in the cafe. Tom Holland really portrayed the character very well. After leaving the cafe, our friend gets a house and starts a new life and tries to be Spider-Man and help people in this world where nobody knows him. Guys, I was very impressed by this change in the character after 3 movies. So far, everyone who called Tom Holland Spider-Man Iron Man's henchman or Spider-Boy will probably just call the character Spider-Man after this movie. Of course, in the movie, Peter trying to heal the bad guys was pretty good. In today's world where it is so easy to ostracize people because they are poor or have mental problems, Peter trying to heal these bad guys and succeeding in doing so was a powerful message. By the way, at the last moment when Peter was going upstairs, I thought the tenant was going to be the guy from the original Spider-Man movies, but since the end of the movie was so serious, I guess they didn't want to add a joke here. Everything in the movie was about Peter becoming Spider-Man and everything in the story was in service of that. So I didn't care too much about Doctor Strange acting weird and not being a strong character or the details of the magic. As you know, everybody in the world has forgotten who Peter is. People who have pictures with Peter, people who have spent time with Peter. I don't know how they're going to remember that time. If nobody knows who Peter is, what about Peter's past? How are we going to prove that he went to high school, that he's an American citizen, and then there's this? Spider-Man is probably still a member of the Avengers because people haven't forgotten who Spider-Man is, they've just forgotten who Peter Parker is. I don't think Toby and Andrew have forgotten who Tom is, and I hope after this movie there will be more Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland. At the end of the movie, we saw Venom return to his own universe and leave a little piece of himself behind. So theoretically Venom will now be in 2 different universes. Maybe Andrew's Spider-Man will face off against Venom. Meanwhile, Tom Holland's Spider-Man will face another Venom. I mean, the possibilities are endless, guys. The possibilities are endless. The reaction to the movie and the actors will determine how the story goes from here. Maybe Andrew will say, this was a one-off, I don't want to continue. Thank you for watching the video and for being with me on this channel on this Spider-Man journey. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next videos.